Hello guys, TKG here for your comfortable LostArk life. In this video, I'd like to cover one of his class engravings of the Soul Eaters, as the video in my channel has some old introduction and editing, so I thought it'd be great to remake it like the recent cover videos. Now follow me, I'll show you what you need. Let's start with the basic of this video. Class engraving I'm going to cover in this video is Full Moon Harvester, or just Full Moon Soul Eaters. Full Moon Soul Eater is another class engraving that utilizing the identity on the actual gameplay. As you can see right away, Soul Eater has a 2 meter, which represent as a Soul Stone, and the Possession meter, which located below of the Soul Stone meter. Soul Stone required for using the Deathblade skills, which represent as a purple or pink color. In other words, if you don't have filled Soul Stone, you cannot use the purple skill. So you need it anyway. But no worries, filling the Soul Stone is not a big deal for the Soul Eaters. Every action you take as a Soul Eaters, I mean with the Stygian's blue skill, Ghast skill, will fill up the identity meters, including the Possession meters. Well, for better explanations, the core of the Soul Eaters can be summarized like this. Soul Stone is like a resource meters which required for using the pink skill. Possession meter is a resource meters which required for activating the Deathblade mode, which increase the damage, attack, movement speed, critical rate, and decrease the cooldown of the Deathblade skills. So in short, supply the Soul Stone Possession meter with the Stygian's Ghast skills and use the Deathblade skills to do the damage and additional Possession meter supply. After you fill the whole Possession meters, entering the Deathblade mode to do the main DPS cycle is everything for the Soul Eater core mechanic. In addition, activating the Deathblade mode will resupply the whole Soul Stone, I mean 3 Soul Stones. But unlike the other identity utilizing classes can use the skills, can use any skills during the identity uptime. Soul Eater has a force break which represent as a Soul Stone. We have 3 Soul Stone, right? That means if you use the Deathlord skill 3 times, identity mode will automatically turn off and change your Soul Eater form to normal mode. After that, you have to do the supplying the Soul Stone Possession meter again to activate another Deathlord mode. For more Korean expression, Full Moon Soul Eater is greatly specialized in compressing the DPS cycle. And as she is a hitmaster class, she is quite free on positioning during the battle. Plus, she has a quite nice control experience during the gameplay. Of course, her base combat stat is specialization and critical, but due to a self-attack movement speed buff, she has a quite convenient control experience. Not to mention, Gem of the Soul Eater is cost efficient because you only need about 3 attack power gem. Well, I think this is pretty obvious. Soul Eater has a forced DPS cycle, so you need to pour everything you have on that limited time for the full DPS cycle. Missing one skill is quite critical for the DPS performance, so you need to little accurate for your skill aiming. Not to mention you need to little precise for the identity supply too. And Soul Eater has not many options on the synergy too. Mostly the Soul Eater is quite capable on self buff, so little bad synergy might be her disadvantage too. Currently, the build of the Soul Eater is quite fixed with the specialization and the critical. Especially Full Moon Soul Eater specialization coefficient is quite great for the class itself. So you need to build it with the specialization for the full efficient gameplay. Also, the critical is quite an additional because the Soul Eater has a self-critical synergy, so the value of the additional critical is quite lower than the other classes. So that means you can choose a specialization bracelet with the lower critical stat to be more cost efficient, because it is quite effective. And if you are using the hallucination for your set gear, you can be slightly over critical when the synergy character showed up to your party. So try to switch the gear to Nightmare, or try to use the reserve bracelet with the specialization swiftness if you can afford it. And a lot of people ask me about which one is better. Well, I think the average performance is great with the hallucinations, but with the better critical, surely the Nightmare is better. If you choose the hallucination, you can see the stable damage and critical. If you wish to see high ceiling and damage performance, Nightmare is great to use. But the Nightmare has a little picky condition and requirements to see the better damage performance. Like you have to little confident about controlling the Nightmare buff with enough critical synergy, 9/7 stone, and the bracelet. Without that condition and requirements, commonly I think the hallucination is commonly great to use for the soul eaters. And the engraving build is Grudge, Full Moon, Kimberlin Weapon, Raid Captain, level 1 Adrenals, and choose it from the Hitmaster, Supercharge, Crystal. Kimberlin Weapon and the Raid Captain is a quite efficient engraving for the soul eaters due to its efficiency. I mean, she has enough critical rate buff with the engravings, and of course with the nice movement speed buff. And many people ask me about which one is good between the Hitmaster and the Crystal. Well, that depends on which one do you prefer. Like, you could use the Rebirthized Tenacity Tripod if you decided to use the Crystal with the back attack. But let's be clear about this one, is that sometimes the Crystal can be less performance because of the Elixir and the Adrophins. So commonly, Hitmaster is recommended to use for the common soul eater build. And plus, you can use the Supercharge by replacing the Hitmaster, which can be more cost effective than the Hitmaster build. But cheap build has a reason. If you wish to see the ceiling performance or at least better damage experience, I suggest you to use the Hitmaster. And if you don't feel that much about mass increase penalty, you can use the mass increase, but considering the stability and convenience, I think I'd rather use the Crystal or Hitmaster. Currently, soul eater skills are categorized into 3 parts, which can be well known by the color. Blue skill is a Stygian skill, which the backbone skill for supplying the identity, Soulstone and the possession meter, and the pink or purple skill, that's the Lord skill, which the DPS backbone, foundation, and the additional possession meter supply skill. And the last, Ghast skill, the self-Zener skill of the soul eaters. And I think the soul eater, especially the Death Lord skill, has a little variation to choose from. I mean, it can choose the tripod with your preference, like the tenacity or no casting by giving up some damage. Also, the counter skill has some variation from Rusted Nail and the Gluttony. If you decided to use a Gluttony, you can get the additional possession meter supply. Using Rusted Nail will supply the Soulstone with faster cooldown. But personally, when managing the identity meters, Soulstone has quite enough supply. More exaggerations, Soulstone has already enough skill to supply, but the possession is not. So mostly, I recommend the Gluttony on your skill composition. And our skill build can be summarized like this text box. I'll try to choose the most common skill build of the soul eater right now. So if you had a better experience with the other skill build or the tripod, please share your info through the comments. Awakening skill is the end. Well, actually there is not many differences on damage between that two awakening skill. The end skill has a slightly higher damage value than the Deathbringer, but it is really slightly different. Deathbringer can supply the Soulstone in short time with the destruction. The end can show you the better damage with the short casting time. So awakening skill is more like a preference. You can choose it by your preference. Mostly I use the end for the fast casting and better damage. When activating the Death Lord mode, you can do the synergy by close distance activating. Entering Death Lord mode can do the damage for the nearby enemy with a damage increase debuff toward the enemy. So try to keep close when activating the Death Lord mode. Using Guillotine Swing and immediately turning on Death Lord will apply the attack, movement speed, critical buff to the Guillotine Swing. And this mechanism also can be applied to the Guillotine Swing and the Lunatic Edge synergy too. Well, I think this is pretty obvious. Maybe some of you might know about the Full Moon class engraving specialty, which is supplying the identity possession meter by just using an additional when making an effective hit with the Death Lord skill. So try to use it when the gimmicks that takes up so many times. Skill combo of the Soul Eater can be summarized like this, but it is more like a reference. You have to use the combo by understanding how much that skill will supply the Soulstone and the possession meter, and use the Death Lord skill between the combos. And I think the Soul Eater skill combo is really flexible, unlike she is using the identity as a main DPS cycle. More like you can chain the combo by your preference. So try to use this combo as just a reference. that's it for this video. Thanks for watching everyone, and always thanks for your big support. Hope this video was a little help for your LostArk journey. Hope you do well with your solder with this video. And of course, if you like my videos, hit thumbs up for more upcoming infos. I'll come back with more useful infos in the next video.